Hey guys, what's up? Motoflight Guy here, and welcome back to the channel. This is the one I've been dying to show you guys. Sorry it took so long, but the first flight of the Wittman Tailwind also happened to be the most nerve-wracking flight I have done to date. But the wait is over. I'm going to show you guys the full flight, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk about it. The reason why I'm here in the studio, I didn't do any vlogging that day. I was really just laser focused on the flight, and so yeah, let's get into it, and we'll come back and do a little debriefing discussion afterwards. So, first flight, Wittman Tailwind, coming up.
Okay, we're going to taxi down to runway 18. Brake check, brakes are good. Oil pressure's good. CHT's coming out. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail draggers crossing runway 4, Shelby County. Okay, let's do some checks here. Left mag, right mag. Carb heat, and idle check. Okay, mag check was good, carb heat, I saw a drop, altimeter is set. So takeoff briefing. Takeoff's going to be runway 18. Again, if we lose the engine below 500 foot AGL, which is going to be 1100 foot on my altimeter, we're going straight. There's really nothing we can do. Anything above 1100 foot, so above 500 AGL, all on up to 1000 foot AGL, if we lose the engine, I'm going to evaluate whether or not I have enough airspeed, altitude, and how far away from the field I am, and see if I can turn back to the field or not. It'll just be an evaluation. So anything from 1100 feet on up to 1600 feet on the altimeter, we're going to evaluate it, see if we can turn back it. Once we hit 1100 feet, we should have enough altitude. It's going to be a turn back to the airfield and immediate landing on first available runway. I'm going to have to feel the takeoff. I'm expecting it to lift off around 60. I'd like for it to lift off in a 3-point attitude, but if the tail comes up, it comes up. And accelerate to 90 to 100 miles an hour for the climb out. It's going to be a nice shallow climb out. And we'll just do a left-hand orbit directly over the field. And we'll be monitoring temps, pressures, RPM, everything like that. I'm not going to do any crazy maneuvering on the first flight. It's just going to be a nice gentle orbit, make sure our temps are good, and then we'll come back for the first approach. So, control check. It's nice, I can see the elevator. Trim's going to stay neutral for the takeoff because we don't really know how to trim this airplane yet. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail dragger is going to back taxi runway 18. And Scott, did I see them turn off the runway? Are they up there?
Roger that. It looks like they're back in between the hangars. I will keep an eye out for them.
Roger that, thanks. Got Scott, the airport manager, out there with my camera so he can film the takeoff, and just kind of watching to make sure in case he sees anything. from the outside there, he can give me a heads up on it. Trim is set in the neutral position, fuel valve is on. We've done a run up, mag checks were good, carb heat check was good. Mixture's full rich. And here we go. Go full power, make sure everything looks good before we release the brakes. And we've got a little bit of a left crosswind, but it's pretty insignificant, so here we go. Okay, 2200 RPM looks good. Oil pressure's good, oil temp's good, CHD's good. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail dragger on the roll, runway 36, 018, Shelby County. Airspeed's alive. There's 60, and we're off. Oil pressure's good, oil temp's good, CHD's good. EGT looks fine. There's 95. Oh, there's our 100. So passage coming up to 1,000. And there's our 1,100. Let's start a left crosswind.
Fresh traffic, Alana, 48 Victor's entering a left crosswind for runway 9, fresh traffic.
Shelby County traffic, experimental tail draggers on a left crosswind, runway 18 will be a left-hand orbit, climbing orbit over the field, Shelby County. Boy, it climbs good. 1,100 feet a minute right there. We're making 2350 now and 100 mile an hour climb.
Experimental tail dragger. I'm going to head back up to the terminal building, keep an eye on other traffic.
Roger that. Thanks, Scott. She flies nice so far.
Roger that.
Fresh traffic, Alana, 48 Victor's. I'm downwind for runway 9, fresh traffic.
Fresh traffic, Skyhawk 920 Charlie Foxtrot, 2 miles to the south will be midfield crosswind to left downwind runway 9. We have the other traffic.
Oil pressure, oil temp still very good. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail wheel is over the field, orbiting left-hand orbit, 3,000 feet, Shelby County.
Nebraska traffic, Skyhawk 9020 Charlie Foxtrot, midfield, and left downwind for runway 9er, Nebraska. Nebraska traffic, line 4 Victor's departing area to the west, heading back to Champaign, Nebraska.
So far so good, everything is looking good. I don't feel anything that feels off, and T's and P's are all looking normal. I would say that we're about where we're going to be on oil temp, 170-ish. I'd like to see it a little bit higher than that, but it's pretty cool out today. Oil pressure is just locked on about 38 PSI, which is fantastic, and CHDs have kind of leveled off at this airspeed. And engine setting, we're running about 320, 310. It's hard to read that gauge. So I would say that's about what we've got there. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shoot our first approach and see if we can get this thing back on the ground safely and give it a once over. have a peek inside the cowling and just kind of check the airplane over and make sure we don't see anything wrong. And then should be able to get up for a second flight today. It's still pretty early. Okay, power reduction. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Power reduction needed a lot of left rudder there. Just nice 500-600 foot a minute descent here.
Shelby County Unicom to experimental. You planning on landing 1-8 or are you going to go on the grass?
We're gonna do 1-8, Scott.
Roger that.
And Nebraska traffic, Dakota 2897 Quebec, 3 miles north, left base for Nebraska.
So, approach, we're going to approach at a little hot. We're probably going to come in about 90. We're not trying to stick it on the numbers. We're not trying to make it super short. We're just trying to get a good feel for the airplane, so. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail dragger is now on a left downwind for runway 18 for the option in Shelby County. It's going to be a full stop, Scott, unless I don't like something.
Nebraska traffic, 97 Quebec, left base.
Roger that, we're ready.
Runway 9 Nebraska.
A little bumpy down here.
Eagle Creek traffic, Platus and a high, right downwind, descending through 7,000 for runway 21. We're west of the field, about 5 miles, right traffic 21, Eagle Creek, Platus. Nebraska traffic, 97 Quebec, turning final, 9 Nebraska.
Okay, we're going to put a notch of flaps in. Shelby County traffic, experimental tail draggers, left base, runway 18 option. There's second notch of flaps.
Eagle Creek traffic, Platus on a right base.
Trim this up a little bit. And full flaps, maybe. Can't get it to lock into full. Have to take a look at the flap handle. Well, that was not as clean as I would have liked it to be. Okay, I did get full flaps on that last one. Boy, that flap handle takes a little bit of finagling to get that to full flaps. I'm not really sure what I need to do with that.
Little bounce, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the flap handle. I was fighting it on final.
Not staying locked or what?
Yeah, it's hard to get it locked in full flap notch.
Roger that. I got to take a couple more pictures while I'm out here, and then I'll head in.
Roger that. Yeah, she's boy, fighting that flap setting on final. Boy, that was not ideal. So it kind of distracted me a little bit. I probably should have just went ahead and went around, but getting used to the pitch sensitivity. She's pretty sensitive in pitch, but man, the landing gear is ultra forgiving. Wow, just ultra forgiving on the landing gear. I'll take it. Okay, we'll kill the radio, kill the beacon. Mags off, master off. Woo! We'll get the landings figured out, but oh, that's a heck of a feeling flying your own airplane. All right, I'm gonna get out and give this thing a good once over.
So there you guys have it, the first flight of my Wittman Tailwind. What a feeling, I can't even describe it. It was the most nerve-wracking flight that I've ever done, but also at the same time it was the most rewarding flight that I've ever done. It was a huge learning experience, and I did debrief a lot of small things for myself in reviewing that footage, but the main one that I want to touch on is the one thing that I would change if I could do that flight over is when I had that trouble with the flaps on short final, I absolutely should have pushed full power, got a positive rate of climb, and retracted the flaps and did a go around, and I could have decided what I wanted to do from there. That's one thing that I would change, one thing that I should have done differently, but I didn't. I never felt like I had lost control of the airplane or like I was in any situation where I was in danger, but it's something that on a first flight of a new airplane, if there was any question at all on short final, I should have done a go around. It's one thing that I wish that I would have done, wish that I would have changed, but hindsight is always 20/20, and often we're trying to make these decisions with a minimal amount of time, and my brain was so saturated with helmet fire trying to make that first approach and make everything good and make sure that I didn't mess up. You know, it's just a decision that I didn't make the one that I probably should have. In the end, everything worked out. Other than that, I think the flight went extremely well, and I was pretty proud of myself for the way that I handled the entire process of working myself up to that flight. A lot of behind the scenes stuff went into that you're not going to see because I didn't have a camera rolling, but it took me about a month of preparation to get to the point of doing the first flight, and overall I think I did a pretty good job. There's several things that I would do different in the future. I should have done a go around, but overall I think it went pretty well, and the airplane is a beautiful airplane. It flies extremely nice. It's got excellent performance numbers, and it just handles like a dream. So I'm really falling in love with the airplane. I think I've got about 10 hours on it so far, and I just can't wait to get the next video out. I've got people that want to know about performance numbers, and we're going to go up and run it through a full set of flight maneuvers, and I'll show you guys stalls and steep turns, and we'll get some baseline performance numbers, and get all kinds of information out there that I've got people asking me about. We're going to get to it, guys. I've got a lot of content planned. The weather's starting to get kind of crappy here in the Midwest, but there'll still be plenty of good flying days, so I'm looking forward to getting the content out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this first flight video as much as I did. It was super fun to do, super fun to make, and I'm glad that I could share it with you guys. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in if you're still watching, and if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It does help me out, and as always, we'll see you guys on the next one.